Hello, Peter4789 Cyrus here, and well, it seems like I've been tagged by my friend ShintaiReviews to do a video discussing the other type of games that I play that are not RPG. Yeah, other types of games. I play other types of games other than RPGs. But seriously speaking, I do play a lot of different type of games when I'm not focusing on a role-playing game, whether being a Japanese role-playing game or a Western role-playing game. I play first-person, third-person shooters, hack and slash, action-adventures, platformers, all sort of type of games. There's not really many specific genres that I avoid. There are some, like rhythm games or real-time strategy games, and rhythm games because I'm not really all that into them, and real-time strategy games because I'm not all that good at the keyboard and mouse. I usually play a controller whenever I play on my PC. But I am going to focus on the genres that I do seem to go back into time to time, more so than other genres, and talk about why I do like playing these type of games when I'm not playing a role-playing game. And the first type of games I'm going to talk about in terms of discussing games that I play besides role-playing games, or games that I keep coming back into, is hack and slash games. Games like Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, even though I haven't finished Bayonetta yet, Metal Gear Rising, those type of games. I'm a really big fan of those type of games. They're just very engaging to me, to their complexity, to their combat systems. Even though they might be going for a different style to each other, like comparing Devil May Cry to Ninja Gaiden. Devil May Cry is a much more stylish hack and slash game in comparison to Ninja Gaiden, where there's much more creativity to how you form combos in the game, where you have all these type of moves where you have the freedom to chain these moves together and perform really stylish combos on the enemies. In comparison to Ninja Gaiden, where you have a much more traditional combo system, where you have a preset combo list to go from. But in that game, it's much more about learning your enemy types and moves and knowing how to dispatch these enemies quickly and safely. Knowing which weapon type is effective against certain enemy types, so you can dispatch them effectively and safely, as well as knowing how each enemy moves, so you can dodge them effectively. Albeit this is also in Devil May Cry, but I think Ninja Gaiden has a large focus on this, since you're going to be dodging a lot in Ninja Gaiden. Now, this is both a very broad generalization of both the Devil May Cry series and Ninja Gaiden series, but I just wanted to highlight the two different combat styles that each respective series got, to demonstrate that a hack slashing can have a different combat style to them and still be good if they're well designed, like the Devil May Cry series with the exception of 2, and the Ninja Gaiden series with the exception of 3. The enemy variety in these type of games are also rather good. Like I said before, most of these games do require you to really know how your enemy moves, what type of attacks they do, so you can deal with them effectively. Some games there's much more focus in them, but generally they do require you to pay a good amount of attention to which type of enemies you're going to fight, or you're going to die. Like fighting the Blitz in Devil May Cry 4, or fighting black spider ninjas in Ninja Gaiden, since they throw shurikens that explode. I can hurt a lot. And I especially love the boss fights in these type of hack slash games. They're just so intense and really keeps you on your toes when you're fighting them. Well, fighting a good boss. The over-the-top nature of the hack slash games is also incredibly enjoyable. And hack slash games are just games I can really keep going back into. I just love trying to master the complexity in these type of games, combat systems, knowing which moves are useful in certain situations, knowing which move flows well with each other, knowing which weapon type would be effective against certain enemy types or certain enemy numbers if the weapon is used for dealing damage in a group. Mastering each weapon type. Knowing the enemy type so intimately that you can dispatch them from the get-go. Just like that, compared to the first time where you really struggle to fight them. And yes, I can't snap. The progression of having your butt kicked at the start, but dominating once you really sit down and learn the mechanics is an aspect I really love in these type of hack and slash games. And the path to mastering a technical hack and slash game is a form of progression that's very akin to role-playing games, which I really dig once I really absorb myself into a hack and slash game. Now with that said, I also do enjoy the other side of the spectrum of the hack and slash games. Games like Dynasty Warriors, where you're basically a one-man army, mowing down enemies and feeling powerful while you do it. And the reason why I enjoy that is, well, like I said, the feeling of being this one-man army and basically taking down enemies like it's nothing. Unless you're facing Lu Bu, then he makes you feel like that and feel inadequate. Another aspect in these type of games that I really enjoy is the amount of content there is. You play a Dynasty Warrior game, or Samurai Warrior game, or a Musou game, you can bet there's going to be tons of content in it. That was the content that you're going to enjoy doing. That depends if you enjoy the one-man army, Dynasty Warrior type of combat. But yeah, and I probably do have a special heart for a special place in my heart for Dynasty Warriors, mostly because it did introduce me to Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which I think is awesome. Now in terms of hack and slash games, well, the technical hack and slash games that stand out to me, that's really hard because there's really, all the good hack and slash games that stick to my mind are just so good. There's Bayonetta, which I have a lot of fun with but haven't completed yet. Metal Gear Rising, which it's not as deep as Devil May Cry 3 or 4, Ninja Gaiden, or Bayonetta, but still a lot of fun in its own right. And the player mechanic in that game is a lot of fun to play around with. And the bosses, oh my goodness, are the bosses so much fun to fight against in that game. And I feel that Metal Gear Rising, despite being a hack slash game, still does manage to capture the spirit of the Metal Gear series, in my opinion. And then, of course, there's Capcom's Devil May Cry series, which is mostly a great series of games. Mostly. 2 is not a good game in my opinion. I even made a quote review with my friend Soar discussing why we don't think it's a good game. It's still, yeah. And even the reboot I still had fun with, even though it's not as good as 1, 3, and 4. Though 3's being my favorite game in the Devil May Cry series, following 4 and 1, and then the reboot, and then 2. And even the lesser hack and slash games, like Killer is Dead, I mean mechanically lesser, though the story is zany and crazy and generally entertaining. I still enjoy those, but I think the standout game for me is probably Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox. mostly because I grew up playing that game. Played that game when I was in my teens, and the original Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox for me was so much fun. The combat was fast-paced. The combat had much more emphasis on defensive gameplay, which meant you really had to be careful of enemy movements, of their attacks, and how to dodge them well, or you were going to die, which made it really engaging. The weapon variety in that game was awesome. Each weapon type felt great to use. They were unique from each other. They had a substantial amount of combos to them, even though Ninja Gaiden did use a traditional combo system like most action games did. But they were also very viable to use once you got them. The progression system was also good, if standard. I mean, you upgrade weapons using the in-game currency, which is yellow essence. With the more you upgrade your weapons in that game, the more moves they got, as well as a visual upgrade, which was great. You did feel your weapon got stronger, especially some weapons more than others, like the wooden sword. The wooden sword is not that bad a weapon, but once it becomes ore, it becomes a monster. A monster of a weapon, in my opinion. And it's so satisfying to raise that weapon up from the wooden sword to the ore, especially when you're using Azuna drop with the ore. So satisfying. And overall, the progression system was overall pretty good in that game. You gotta also upgrade your health and nipple bar, which is the magic bar, basically, in Ninja Gaiden 2. And I also like the world design in Ninja Gaiden. Rather than just being a level select, being like a level select screen type of structure, they went the more interconnecting area structure, which did make exploring Ninja Gaiden to be fun. I mean, it's not going to reach like Dark Souls level of interconnecting levels, but it was still fun to go explore around Ninja Gaiden. I think the thing that stands out to me the most is probably enemy variety, from the enemy mobs to the bosses. They were just so good in Ninja Gaiden. Okay, the final boss in Ninja Gaiden 1 I didn't think was that good. In fact, I thought the final boss for Ninja Gaiden, the final boss, was kind of disappointing, but that's besides the point. The enemy variety in Ninja Gaiden was just terrific. They're so unique from each other, require different strategies to deal with them effectively, and they just really engaged you. And the enemy variety really kept you on your toes, which really kept the game dynamic, because you had different strategies to deal with different enemy types, which is great. And I just love the enemy variety in Ninja Gaiden. The next type of games that I played besides role-playing games, and this is going to be a rather broad one, but it's open world type of games. Games like Assassin's Creed, the Batman Arkham games, Shadow of Mordor, and even other games in other genres like that, like Far Cry 3 and 4 from what I've seen, but I haven't played 4. So games like that. I think the main appeal for me in those type of games is seeing the world that the developers create in them. It's just so fascinating to see the detail they put in their world of theirs, from just the art style, visual design of the world, to the interactions you see they put for the players in their world. It's just so interesting to run around and explore and interact with the world that these games present. It's just so fascinating, whether it's creating their own unique fantasy world or recreating a part of a city in real life, like the Assassin's Creed series. Heck, I say one of my main appeals, one of the main reasons why I buy Assassin's Creed game isn't really for the story, it's for the worlds. I want to explore the unique the reinterpretations of past cities in Assassin's Creed. It's just so fascinating to me to just go and explore these unique worlds. And that's really is the main appeal for me in terms of these open world type of games. Another reason why I really dig open world type of games is one of the main reasons why I dig Dynasty War type of games. The content. There's lots of stuff to do in open world games, from just tons of side missions they put in open world type games. Now, I don't really go for the collectathons, like collecting all the flags, or collecting, like in the Arkham Knight games, our Riddler trophy. It looks like going to have to an Arkham Knight, which seems to be really annoying, but anyway. And yeah, in terms of any standout games that stand out to me, in terms of open world games, I guess I can't really count RPGs. As for the standout game, open world game for me, I'm probably gonna go Assassin's Creed 2. Half of it got to do with game, half of it got to do with real life. The game itself, it's a really fun game. There's various cities you visit in Assassin's Creed 2, like in the first Assassin's Creed game. Each city got their own identity, as they should, since they are based in real life, which are based on three pretty different cities. And they really did improve from Assassin's Creed 1 and make the open world interaction much more fluid and much more fun. And there's a variety of content in the game, which is a big improvement from Assassin's Creed 1, where Assassin's Creed 1 investigations, you do again same thing over and over again. So glad that Assassin's Creed 2 branched off that and tried to add more variety to the gameplay. But what makes Assassin's Creed 2 stand out for me in terms of open world games is probably my visit to Venice. I went to Venice when I was still in my teens on a vacation, and I played Assassin's Creed 2 before that as well. I was just so surprised at how Assassin's Creed 2 depiction of Venice was pretty accurate to the real life version. It's not 100% accurate, but accurate enough that I was generally pretty surprised, and that moment just stuck to my mind, still stick to my mind to this day. And that's probably why Assassin's Creed 2 stand out to me. Yeah. Now the other type of game I'm going to discuss that I play when I'm not playing a role-playing game is interesting. It's interesting because I don't actually search out for this type of games. What's because these type of games aren't really sold on retail much, though that's been changing throughout the year. It's pretty recent. And those are visual novels. Now, having said that, you probably guess why I like visual novels. It's for the story and characters and all that jazz. But I also like the extra detail that a visual novel can bring you, that a video game, movie, or anime can't. Since, well, too much detail can ruin the pacing of a video game, anime, or movie. But you don't have that problem in visual novels, since it can be as long as you want, since it's like reading a book. But as well as having that extra detail that a book can bring, it also has sound design, visual design, to keep you immersed in it. And I think that is the strength of a visual novel. It can bring all extra detail books can, but it can also capture the strengths that a visual medium can bring, such as visual designs or even sound, which can really immerse you into the visual novel. Now, in terms of visual novels that stand out, I can't really say I can fairly comment on this, since I haven't read that many visual novels. Read Joji, which is a pretty good visual novel. Phase 9, Tsukihime, which are great visual novels in my opinion. Not as interactive as the visual novels that get localized here, like Ace Attorney or 999, but really great stories, great world building, great characters, etc. And also, the guy who tagged me also recommended me those series. Let's see. Oh yeah, Ace Attorney, which is great. And Ace Attorney is a bunch of games that I do repeatedly go back into. Mostly because out of all the visual novels, they're probably the shortest. So they don't really require that much time, but they're also really memorable with really great characters, very good plots, out there mysteries. Well, it's kind of like a mystery when you're trying to solve the crime case and try to get your client not guilty, because in Ace Attorney, the only way you can get a not guilty verdict is getting someone else guilty. And the Zero Escapes game is also really good. Great writing in those series, great atmosphere. And atmosphere. Phase 9 Tsukihime also are great in that department as well. And like I said, I can't say which one stand up because they're all great in their own way. Anyway, that's all for this video, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. And in terms of who I tag, I don't know. All the persons I could have tagged have already been tagged, so sorry folks, I don't know anybody else who can tag.